Prepare for battle.
Vici Gaming versus Evil Geniuses, Game 3. Chance to be able to make it to the grand finals for Vici Gaming. It's a chance at revenge against Secret. And for EG, it's a chance to get revenge against a Vici Gaming that has beat them time and time again this season.
I'm not giving you my puppies, first and foremost, but Vici Gaming, let's talk about the draft. Panel really said that Vici Gaming have a wonderful draft, and I agree with them. I think they have really strong heroes. They don't have your classic cores, right? They don't have really the easiest lineup to execute. I think maybe that's where EG's lineup might be favored a little bit. You have the AA plus Chrono. It's a super easy combo to use. However, you are playing versus Winter Wyvern as well. So it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
There is something about the simplicity of just getting off a good Chrono, landing an Ice Blast, and throwing a bunch of damage.
Exactly.
Vici Gaming, certainly a lot of team fight there and a lot of potential combinations they can do.
So much. Like usually when you're drafting in a team, you're thinking about possible combos on your side. When you look at this Vici lineup, every single hero works well with the other one. They can make movements in every single part of the game, and that's why it's so good. You have the Magnus to break the coil, you have the Rubik lift, you have the Rubik versus the Abaddon as well, you have the Curse versus the Void, you have the silences from the it's just, it looks really, really solid.
I think that's one of my favorite ones to see right now is the combination of Mag plus Puck. A high execution combination that requires the skewer to be able to pull people out of that coil, but when successful, does a ton of damage. We see already a little bit of shenanigans when it comes to the lanes. So we're going to have Vici Gaming dropping off their Doom at bottom. Mid matchup of Abed versus Ori, and the Storm Spirit versus the Puck. Abed had a monster game yesterday as the Storm Spirit against several counters, but it did not seem to matter. He tore it up on that Storm Spirit.
Bottom lane, they're going on the Doom, Yang.
Bit of trouble here, no bashes from Arteezy, who did level that time lock level 1.
They didn't start with the toss as well, they started with the avalanche, and they were just not quick enough to kill off this Doom. I think it's really good that they're tri-laning on the bottom lane. You need to shut down Yang. If he manages to find that Frost Armor though, you can bring 4 heroes here and it won't be enough.
And you can't really, like, it's hard to beat Magnus with any kind of melee hero because of the free damage he gets off the Empower, right? So it's...
And there's Rubik as well, on the top lane.
Well, yeah.
I think this is the lanes that we could have expected. I think we expected Puck to go mid. Nothing really out of the ordinary, and we shouldn't see way too many rotations early on. Perhaps from the Tiny towards that mid lane, but that's about it.
That would certainly be the most effective hero to rotate around. Rubik gets a little low at top, but he'll be fine.
They tried to go on the Abba, and I'm surprised they didn't manage to do that, because Rubik plus Magnus is an old school combo that was played a long time ago when Magnus was always mid and Rubik was position 4. You would come in with that gank, you would lift into skewer back on the tower.
Right.
And they had an opportunity to do that there, but they messed up the timing a little bit.
Good job by EG to be able to pull this creep wave back away from Yang, but Yang has still managed to get his level 3, a crucial level. Nice, there it is. Telekinesis into the skewer back. Ramses, he does have a teleport if he wants to go for it. They've already used all their stuns after all.
Yeah, he had that mango, so very easy for him to use it, TP back. But he has to be careful. He just used that TP now for 70 seconds. He won't have it.
Yeah, he can't afford to get caught. Another combination like that. Our mid lane going very even. Abed, 1 CS up, but several denies down.
We've seen a couple of pucks mid. Usually the panel and everyone watching this current meta likes the puck more on the 4, but some players can definitely make it work, and Ori is just fantastic on mid lane.
What do you think it is about Ori that makes him so good at this mid lane puck?
I don't think it's necessarily the puck. I haven't seen him play the puck way too many times, but the way he plays overall fills me with confidence that he's going to be able to have a nice puck game too.
Been outplaying a lot of people, but DY in some trouble here. Evil Geniuses will get the first blood on their favorite child of Arteezy, playing the hard carry.
Eventually that had to happen. You're playing as a tri-lane with the Tiny and the Ancient Apparition combo. One bash is enough and you can take down the Wyvern.
And it seems like Ramsey's doing pretty decent for himself in this top lane. At least he's getting the levels anyways, level 4.
He's not getting a lot of gold though. He has 10 CS, which isn't horrible. He's versus 2. I think he's doing fine, like you just said.
Yeah.
But you want to have Ramses as tanky as possible mid lane.
Oh, Abed. He would have lost that 1v1, but Ori doesn't stick around for it because Crit was making his way through the river. He may have just secured a refill on the bottle for the Storm Spirit and the Arcane Rune, unless he actually TP'd over to the tower and uses all of his abilities to snatch that Arcane Rune away from Abed. Smart play by Ori.
Abed still has a Mango and a Salve to work with, so when it comes to this nutrition battle on the mid lane, he was really smart about it. He has to be careful now. He is playing versus an Arcane Orb puck, but he should be fine.
Oh, we managed to get the heartbeat there for Yang. Maybe not the best against a Void specifically, because he can time lock off the damage, but still an incredible tool in the laning phase. And just
I don't know though, 50 mana?
Yeah.
It's good when you're a Chen or an Ench and you can take that creep, but when you're a Doom, I think you'd rather find something different. I'd rather even have the movement speed.
And Aura, just so you don't spend some of your mana, you can always have Scorched Earth or Devour. Abed, about that time for a Storm Spirit. Oh, well, it wasn't the time to die,
About that time to die to the neutrals?
I guess so.
I don't think so.
Unfortunate. But he was just trying to get his level 6 from the neutrals and not play against that puck anymore. I mean, he didn't get that level 6, so we'll see what he does as he revives.
I always respect Storm in the current state of the game because you can create a lot of space and be the playmaker. Also, you scale really well. Versus these heroes on the side of Vici Gaming, you will need that gap closing ability in your Ball Lightning just to get on top of the Wyvern the way Yang did it in that last match.
Level of Infernal Blade, that's because they do have Ori coming over with the coil. They quickly kill Arteezy, and now that they've slowed down Fly as well, they should be able to chase him down. Fly turns around, tries to get some damage out of Yang before it falls.
On the top lane, they're chasing Ramses.
Skewered forward, the Aphotic Shield will hold for now. It breaks, but they're running out of damage. They need to be able to get another hit from Eurus, but Yang, or Ramses rather, got a little stuck in the trees there.
I thought they might actually even swap lanes now and send the Abed on the bottom lane, but they do not do that. Void went back towards bottom. He's level 4 versus a Doom that's halfway to his level 6. I don't think this is a great lane for Arteezy any longer, but if you continue bashing, it is.
Crit. I think he was trying to maybe get a toss on a PYW into the tower, but not able to get into that right position. A win for Vici Gaming on both the side lanes leads them now to a net worth lead.
Also, the mid lane went fairly well for them with that puck rotation. He's also higher net worth by 500 than the Storm, so it's looking scary for EG. They still need a couple of levels on their heroes, and then they can start making plays. Most importantly, I think that you need to give this AA a way to get his 6. Because if you notice the way Arteezy played Void in the last couple of matches, he always rotates as soon as he gets that chrono, and he tries to make a couple of kills early on, so that Abed isn't the one that has to be rotating. He can just scale much, much better.
Right. We'll see what he does. When he does get that level 6, who's going to be targeting? Is there someone specifically that you would like to see shut down with the Chronosphere rotation?
I guess killing the Magnus would be optimal for them, but he's really beefy. It's difficult. Also, there's always a possible Winter Wyvern reaction, so you have to be careful about that. I think this isn't an easy Void game. I think...
No.
Puck, however...
Okay, Chronosphere into the mid lane to be able to bring down Ori. Certainly a squishier hero, to be sure. DY was almost there with the counterplay, but now he may be a secondary kill as the magic damage of the Storm Spirit is just enough. They do have the toss, but Arteezy is taking damage from this Doom. Now that they have the Scorched Earth, it's going to be even easier to bring him down. Crit. Unable to do anything there. He tried to go for a deny, but...
he was lucky that Eurus missed the shockwave there, so he wasn't able to catch up. They went on the Puck, I think. Well, this is the answer to your question. Puck is the squishiest one. You take him down fairly easily.
The one most affected by that kind of AoE lockdown. And now allows the Storm Spirit to close that net worth gap between the two, but it is still Magnus getting farther and farther ahead.
At least AA, we see Fly here on the bottom lane just farming away, getting creeps, getting experience most importantly. That's why the way Arteezy plays is really significant for EG at the moment. They always have these position 5s that really can utilize that big power spike of level 6.
It seems like a pretty popular trend. Crit. Gonna be able to get the toss back here. Eurus, of course, has both the RP and the skewer.
I was surprised he didn't go on to A.
Yeah,
I really think he could have killed him.
DY stuck in the trees here.
Storm is rotating in.
Evil Geniuses trying to make a big move. Eurus, he's a little bit low on mana and is going to be scared into potential silences. Yeah, Ramses is going to be able to get that stack off, held in place, and Eurus is just going to fall. No opportunity to be able to get off the RP. Now the Avalanche slowed down DY enough that Abed's going to be able to catch up to him into the tree stick. No.
I'm actually surprised that they gave up on the Magnus and the Wyvern the way they did here.
Yeah.
We see DY die now as well. Meanwhile, on the top lane, they are taking the tier 1, but this Magnus is your carry. It's not some random mid Magnus that's going for blink and just needs to use that RP or some off lane. This is your carry. This is your win condition. You shouldn't be letting him go that easily.
Phonic Shield going to be stolen by PYW as they go to defend their tower. So this trade-off does mean that they have a tower advantage, even if it did cost them a couple of heroes.
And the best thing that this Ruby can steal, almost the best thing, but a Photic Shield in this kind of a game is going to do wonders for them. Storm Spirit suddenly cannot get on top of someone and easily take them down. They also have two heroes that are literally pick-off oriented. You have the Storm and the Tiny. You have Tiny that's going to be going for that Blink Dagger and Storm that's going to be jumping the backlines, so that the Photic Shield will be super significant. Pair that with a Bracer or two and you have unkillable supports.
Yeah, you're going to have double saves as long as he keeps stealing that Aphotic Shield, calling a brace, and that Phonic Shield that they have. It's going to make things even tougher for not just the pick-off heroes, right, but also for this Void when it comes to his Chronos. You already said these heroes are tanky enough, they can survive through the Chrono, especially if they get a helping hand.
Yeah, the A ulti will definitely be there as a follow-up on that Chrono every single time. But that's where DUI comes in handy with his Cold Embrace. The game did slow down by quite a bit. We can see Abed and Void farming at the same spot, which means there's gonna be a smoke, and they do use it.
Heading towards Yang.
He has ice armor though, and the outpost is his. They're waiting the...
They're going to have to use the Ice Blast here, and with the help of Abed, this will be a much easier kill. Adding in some magic damage against that Frost armor you were talking about helps a lot.
They also used a couple of TPs here. They tried to come in and help him, but Rubik is the only one that went with it. Didn't really help out at all. You're in this position in a game in which if you get chronoed, you're dead. It will take you down together with the Void, so... perhaps they could play with the Wyvern behind their course, but he might die.
Oh, Artur! Stop it! He managed to get double batches onto DY. DY inside the trees.
Here comes the Doom.
They'll be safe for now. They do have the Doom up on Yang, but he's a little bit scared with Ramses there. Is the problem. Abaddon always being a hard counter to that ultimate.
Yeah, they're so careful with their movements. Stop playing Storm.
Gonna find the pickoff here on PYW. Runs him over. Dominating streak already for Abed. Back over to bottom lane. Ramses copping some damage here. He's holding on to his ultimate, so he can level that up if he feels like he's in real danger, but it won't be forced out of him unnecessarily.
So far, Vici Gaming, they aren't truly decisive with their movements. They aren't using their big ultimates. On the side of EG, they are making a couple of pickoffs here and there. They haven't been able to take down any objectives, but they are getting kills. Still around 1k behind. That's understandable considering you're playing versus a Magnus. With that Empower, he can really scale and farm very fast. This might be a smoke mid lane. They're behind Puck, all four of them. I'm wondering why they didn't wait for that Blink Dagger on Ori as it's about to be completed, but...
Push forward into the dire jungle now. Evil Geniuses, they don't have a whole lot of heroes in that area, but they're going to wrap around, and this will help them secure that mid-tower area.
Yeah, but look at their positioning. It's fairly perfect. Tiny sitting on the other side of the tower. They know the scan is there.
They're going to have to reveal themselves. They are going to try and get some damage on this tower. The Ice Blast coming out, as well as the Avalanche, and they just back up for a moment, but now that those abilities have been used, Vici Gaming come back with even more confidence.
It's what Panel has also been talking about. You don't really want to fight when you don't have Chrono on the side of EG. It's your biggest team fight ability. It is up now, but it's a little bit too late as they lost another tier 1.
So all that team fight from Vici Gaming does score the early mid-tier 1 tower, always a big objective, and it puts our Mag actually 1k ahead of anybody else in this game.
I think one of the biggest reasons why they aren't able to defend these tier 1s is the fact that they did pressure Abaddon a little bit in the laning stage. You can see that Ramses, he's not his usual self. He doesn't have that super amount of farm coming from the laning stage, and in the recent games he's pretty much always had that, as a Timbersaw Enchantress as well.
Yeah.
And because of that, he's unable to just stand in front, be that meat shield, prevent them from pushing. But now that they have a Puck Dagger though,
PYW gotta start digging. They did get the trusty shovel here, a Vambrace for Eurus, found in the dire jungle.
He has one bracer, possibly he's going to buy another.
They've got a lot of damage coming in. The level 10 talent for the Doom now up with the Blink Dagger of the Puck. This is a very key timing for Vici Gaming. It feels like it's a little similar to game 1, where Vici Gaming had this really clutch timing at about 15-20 minutes, really powerful, and EG just tried to stay away from them for a very large period.
Especially when Magnus completes his BKB as well. That's going to be huge for them. After that, they're completely ready to fight, and Storm's damage is pretty much nullified.
Speaking of Storm, tried to go for that Bloodstone.
Yeah, he was thinking about the Rubik perhaps on the top lane too, but moves back. Very interesting, Eurus locked his bracer. Does that mean, yeah, he doesn't have a secondary one, so he doesn't really want to finish off the Vambrace. He's already tanky enough, I suppose. And one problem with finishing off the Bracer is the fact that you're utilizing that one item slot with an item that you can't sell later on.
Yeah.
So that's heavily debated right now between the pros. Is it a good concept? You're buying something but you can't sell it later?
Right. I can feel it. The early BKB, I always love strength Vambrace because it's effectiveness in giving it to a support later on to the game, but I can understand how this BKB timing is so core to Eurus, because then he's just going to be able to kind of run at Evil Geniuses, and for the most part, a lot of magic damage on their side for now. They do have the Winter's Curse okay, they do have a lot of damage coming into this Doom. Can they finish him off in time, though? Yang still protected by the Cold and Brace, but it's not good enough. A little bit too much magic damage. Coil, but with Ramses on the front line here, the Coil now broken. Abed, he's going to be able to pull a lot of these heroes back. Taking off both of these supports instantly. Evil Genius is now pushed forward as Ori slowed down by the population. They're going to be able to get the RP on one, but the Alphonic Shield waking up Arteezy. Can he get a time walk off, taking off this damage? No, he's going to be doomed by Yang. Pull back into his Doom. But Abed gets the kill onto the Mag. They actually are still winning this fight, even after the buybacks to toss over there. Whoa, poor Fly. Crit. He just sacrificed Fly for the good of the rest of EG.
For the good of who? He could have survived as well. I think he had the avalanche toss on something different, but he tosses him on the A. Anyway, MVP of that fight was definitely Abed, the way he played. He had Region Rune activated, and because of that, he was able to zip through the chrono twice. And as he has that auto attack on, he's able to hit the Doom while he's doing that. Dishes out a ton of damage. Arteezy does get the kill in the end, but then he's able to also go into backlines on these two supports.
Yeah,
and he's actually unstoppable right now. He got another kill.
Full mana plus the avalanche coming in from the side. Really nicely done. Another pick off on Ori, man.
Ramsey's in this team fight. I don't even have to talk about this guy anymore when it comes to his positioning. He just moves next to the void, uses his ulti after the RP, is able to use the shield.
I think that's what I really liked about the Abed pickup. A counter to Doom, but also a good counter to the Mag. They're going to be able to get the toss back here. PYW in range of the Abed and jump forward by Abed. Telekinesis is actually stunning him. A Winter's Curse controlling these heroes in the AoE, but do they have the right kind of follow-up? Crit still positioning himself to try and bring down PYW. Tosses the Mag over into him with the avalanche onto the two cores. Ramsey is stuck though without his bar time. He's going to be in serious trouble. Chased down by Eurus, activating his BKB to finish off the opposing offlaner, but doesn't have anything left in the tank to catch these heroes.
So they just used the first BKB on Magnus. They did get the Abaddon, which is really good for Eurus. It gives him some extra gold too, but overall you just fought without that Void, and you didn't necessarily really do too well in that team fight. Void wasn't even there. What's going to happen once he comes? He's completed.
The completed Mjolnir, so now he's able to put some damage in. When a hero is cold embrace like that, he could still do a good amount. They are really fighting, though, tooth and nail to keep their mid-tower advantage alive. And it's cost them a few heroes, but the net worth is still even between these two teams, even if EG has a larger net worth lead.
I think EG does a bit more with the net worth on these heroes because you are playing versus a Magnus and a Doom.
Yeah.
So naturally, these heroes should have an advantage when it comes to gold gain, at least.
Yeah.
But this tier 1 that you mentioned before is very significant for them and their playstyle because it allows them to play around this Void and stop him from these aggressive movements a little bit easier.
EG pushed out as the 20-minute runes and outposts.
Good ward.
They can actually catch somebody. They're going to be able to find Yang here, pushing him in with the Ice Blast on top of a Chronosphere. That was a lot, but it definitely ensured that Yang falls.
I'm pretty sure they thought about taking him down without the chrono there, the way they initiated, because also what could have happened, Void just jumps in and chronos him, and then it's the same thing, right? But they realized he's a little bit too tanky. They use the chrono. They're satisfied with that because now the tier 1 on the mid lane, it's left exposed.
What do you think about this build? We see Deso for the puck. You've got the phase shift attack plus the 30 damage. It really seems like Ori is focused on being able to scale in this game.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about that because they do lack damage, and it is a decent item on puck since the last couple of patches. But you're up against the Storm. He will be jumping on you, on the Rubik, on the Wyvern. You don't have that one defensive item that you usually get, that you usually need in this kind of a game.
Yeah, I would have thought the magic damage burst against Void Storm would have been more effective for this game, right?
Exactly, versus Void, versus Storm.
The backline of an Ancient Apparition would die very quickly as well. But maybe in part because the Abaddon and all the sustain he provides, Crit gonna toss DY away so he can try and get into the trees and TP out. But Ori finds him with the coil, and now Crit will be falling here. The Ice Blast, the toss over onto DY. Does he get the kill? A toss, an avalanche, a little bit more, but he's just barely the ticks. Thanks to the pipe barrier coming out. They don't actually take it into place. Skewer attempted, but whiffed there from Eurus.
Yeah, that's a good kill on the Tiny. They Crit and Fly, they tried to go on the Wyvern, but he was smart enough to use the Cold Embrace, and the pipe obviously helped out quite a lot. Desolator is completed on puck, by the way, so we're about to see how much he'll be able to do. I haven't seen this build built way too often recently, especially in this tournament. Yeah,
we mostly in the playoffs came around. It felt like everyone was doing the magic damage build. He does have Empower as well, which makes him, a little bit more effective with physical damage. But we shall see. It's definitely going to take some clutch Winter's Curses and RPs for Vici Gaming to make use of all this.
He's queued up an Aghanim Scepter instantly after. They will have a ton of damage with the Dream Coil, with the Skewer away from the Dream Coil, and both of these spells are ready right now.
Do you want to go near the mid lane? Ramses, he's been planting himself here. Okay, with the Skewer back, they're going to try and bring him down twice, basically. Ramses has his ultimate, buys him a little bit of time. Evil Geniuses, they are all running over here, and they may be grouped up or not. Sure enough, there's the Bone Sphere with the Ice Blast on it too, and look at Abed jumping straight to the back line, grabbing it with the Wyvern. They still manage to get out the RP, and that's going to be Ramses dead, but RT's a little bit too tanky for Eurus. Eurus trying to retreat with the remnants of his BKB, but Abed chasing him down, slowing him just bit by bit, running low on mana, but it doesn't matter. Eurus has been caught by the net.
Vici Gaming, they take the same bait we've been seeing for so many times in the last couple of days. E.g., they just put Ramses, the unkillable hero, up front. Yeah, in the end he does die, but at what cost? You just lost 5 of your heroes, you got wiped, and now Rosh as well.
And look at Abed, by the way, not jumping inside the pit, but grabbing that Winter Wyvern before anything goes off. Mega clutch there, right? A Cold Embrace or Winter's Curse could have turned that engagement when EG was mega grouped up. But
really, really good plays by Abed and Abaddon there. Also Ramses, the way he's positioned, he's so far away from everyone else, but they still do believe in him, and they still do connect. That's the thing that these bulky offlaners give you. They give you enough time, even if you're out of position, they give you enough time for your team to respond, and they responded perfectly.
9-19, Evil Geniuses. Finally good to see a big break in the net worth chart. It's been really even for pretty much the entire game. Vici Gaming never leading by more than 2K, but finally it plummets downward. EG now holding almost a 6K gold lead and about an 8,000 experience lead.
And these big items are coming out for them. You see Storm is actually going for the Aghanims as well. We have seen it a couple of times, but not necessarily this early on recently. I think it's good. If you don't have the Chrono, you still can use that as a setup for the AA ult. And he has it, he bought out. He has the Aegis, so he understands that he doesn't really need to save for that buyback. He just needs 500 gold more and he'll have it.
Farm a few more neutrals, maybe sell some items, and it could be game time for Evil Geniuses. This time, they're going to be the ones on the offensive with these timings, like the BKB also on RTZ.
You can see Ori as well. He had the Aghanims queued up, but after the last few engagements, he understood, guys, I'm just dying. There's no way I get this Aghanims for our combo bombo to work. I need to get the Yules. And I can't blame him, but if he goes for that Yules, you will lack the damage, and your strategy was to get the Aghanims plus the Skewer from Magnus. That's usually how you play it, at least.
Successful scan, trying to find, but it's the most elusive hero of all, the Puck on that high ground. So that rotation is going to be a bit of a whiff there for EG. They'll take anything they can find at this point with that Aegis.
Vici Gaming, at least they're doing a good job at spreading the map at the moment. They were farming the top. Doom was on the bottom lane. But you're scared. You're scared of the mobility that comes from EG. You can see this Abaddon is taking your tower. You can't go on him, obviously. But if you go to farm somewhere else and you show yourself, you're scared of the Chrono plus AA.
They got a pretty decent way to be able to at least slow down the pushes on these towers thanks to the phase shift attack. Ori almost getting caught here. Waiting Rift attempted on Abed. Misses that one. Well, push to slow down.
Eurus did show himself. This instantly triggers RTZ. He goes top. He's in the trees though.
Yeah,
maybe he wants to get to the cliff.
You can't be too greedy if you're Eurus here. Once you show, you can't go for that extra creep wave. You got to back up.
He was hiding. Before that, he was always hiding in the trees, and he was using shockwave as the farming tool.
Right.
That's good. But as a Magnus, that's position 1. You don't really want to be in that position. You want to be farming better. You want to be farming creep waves and the camps too. Okay, Okay, we have that Aghanim's completed completely on Storm Spirit. He has the quickening charm as well.
It's funny watching that net worth chart just go back up in the favor of Vici Gaming when nothing is really happening and Vici spread around the map. In part because the Mag and Doom, just that natural gold that's flowing in for them. It's helping to even out this game.
Yang is level 17. On that level 15, he gets the plus 150 Devour Gold. Magnus just farms extremely fast.
An Abyssal Blade pickup. Another great way to be able to lock down two very mobile heroes in the Void and the Storm Spirit.
I really think Vici Gaming still have a good shot in this game. Even though they control it now, you have so many good spells for the late game. You have the Doom, you have the RP. You can never count out a team with those big team fight abilities.
Yeah, I mean, Aghanim's puck is incredibly strong, especially since he went the right-click build. He'll build into late game a lot better. If he gets that 420 GPM, who knows what happens, right?
Yeah, his net worth is going to be really high. He also went for the Aghanims after all. He's not going for Yules.
Okay, I mean, I'd much prefer that. When you've got a mad combination, like, why not try and make use of it? Two different BKB piercing disables on very mobile heroes.
Big smoke coming, all 5 of them. They understood that Aegis will be reclaimed.
Yeah, you could see our Storm Spirit's trying to prolong that Aegis regeneration. And did break the smoke of Vici Gaming.
Such a good read from him. Such a good read, because he knew that they will try to get out of their base as soon as the Aegis is reclaimed. He breaks that smoke.
That was quite cute from Abed, and does help them take the tier 2 mid tower. Now Yang, just a small opening, very low committal, nothing big. They're just trying to poke at EG and see what happens.
They're just making them react, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't go on Ramses any longer. You understood perfectly well what happens last time, so I think the plan should be to ignore him and switch to the back.
Well, the Winter's Curse on crit. This could be a free pick off here, as he's going to remain chain stunned.
Really, really well played by DY. He caught him with the Winter's Curse because he also has Glimmer. He didn't go for that greedy Orchid build. He is a position 5 in this game after all, so some extra utility is really good for him.
Some additional initiation now for EG with the level 20 time lock talent. So he can jump a bit farther. And almost has the Satanic, so he can really play the front line at that point. See the respect he's giving to Vici Gaming. Just hits only half a creep wave, then backs up to farm neutrals. Does not want to get picked off like Crit just did.
There's a double damage rune and the bottle dropped right next to it on the bottom lane, so we should see, I believe the Void picked this up. Yeah. Arteezy comes in.
Crit just revived. He's TPing to the tier 2 to join his team. Nope. Okay, didn't fill up the bottle. Artur was not paying attention.
That's not great because now you will smoke probably. Yeah. They smoke, but they're on a timer with this DD.
It's kind of force EG
into this movement.
To make this movement, and if it goes wrong, you're going to think in the back of your head, like, what if we just had it in the bottle
it's already on
timing.
50%. Look, it's already on 50.
Ramses, he's trying to force something right now to skewer backwards into the tier 3s. A nice way for Vici Gaming to start a fight in a big advantage, even if it is catching Ramses first, but otherwise not going to start off on him. BKB now for the Doom. That Vambrace still left out for any support, I guess, that wants to complete it, but nobody does. Everybody wants their mobility items. Blink daggers.
You can't go on Ramses before you get the Blink on Doom and Aghanims, I guess. Then you have the break, you have the silence on the puck, and that's a fairly good win condition for them, because if you do manage to take down Ramses first, the rest of his squad is fairly easy to take down with a couple of disables.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea.
Aghanims.
But it's Aghanims is a long ways away, but when he does get it,
but he did keep it, and he has that extra gold from the Devourer. It's one of those heroes that can get it in a couple of minutes, let's say.
Well, the Aegis didn't really do a ton for EG. We'll see whether or not they can get the second, as Roshan is about to respawn here. Orchid now up for Abed.
That Orchid also is building towards the Lincoln Sphere, which will obviously help them versus the Doom and the Winter Wyvern. Very, very passive game in the last couple of minutes, though. Not a lot has been happening.
Yeah, you can see just a lot of farming right now. AG, they take over that triangle for the Radiant, sitting on top of their shrine, taking away this tier 2. This helps them to be able to control the Roshan pit. They also don't want to give up on that vision that they have the high ground. Eurus knows, though, that it leaves him free to be able to push bottom aggressive.
And it's up. Rosh is about to go up. It is. So it's Dire's advantage right now. The fact that they took this area and managed to board it is a significant advantage when it comes to the Rosh fight.
They've got some pretty good heroes for taking that Roshan too. If Ramses wants to help them do it, he just got the 90 damage talent, plus has the medallion.
On the other hand, you do have good heroes around the pit on the side of Vici Gaming too. If you find too many heroes inside, you can RP them, you have the Winter's Curse. I think that's why they're waiting on the high ground. Look at them. Yeah. They're just sitting here waiting for this smoke.
They know eventually Vici Gaming is going to, like, guys, we can't just give up Roshan for free. Let's push through that area. And that's where that high ground vision is particularly effective. But if EG isn't patient enough, they may lose this opportunity.
There is one ward that's completely out.
They found the initiation onto the Faceless Void. A massive kill if they can get it. Telekinesis preventing Ramses from being able to help out Artur, but he actually managed to up the side. The RP now coming in. Abed gonna be able to lock down the 2 in the back line, but Artur does fall. The 2 supports wiped out real quickly as Ramses helps bring them down, but Eurus being peppered by Ramses. Managed to get the silence up on him while they leave. They're gonna TP away, tossed up high, down hard for Eurus as he's gonna be brought down with no buyback. PYW, a triple kill for Abed at the end of all of that. While Yang gonna be chased down as well. Abed out of mana, but just Yang. Or he comes back, he just feeds away the rampage.
RTZ getting carried again.
It doesn't stop, man. Abed continues to find winning conditions for evil geniuses. They're gonna munch up to the high ground.
Great team fight by them. That Aghanims on the Abaddon kept the Void alive for such a long time. They couldn't take down RTZ. I lost him. Yeah, he did get, but he bought enough time for Abed to jump into the backlines. At first you said these 2 supports are instantly dead. It wasn't the supports, it was the puck. But he looks like a support once you get on top of him. He's so squishy.
The Storm Spirit makes him look like nothing once he's locked down. Looks like the melee racks, they may have just found another opening, grabbing both the supports now with the Ice Blast coming in hot. BYW and D-Block. They're just gone. Winter's Curse onto, okay, that's a nice stun setup here, but at the end of the day, well, Ramses actually doesn't have his ultimate, so he is going to be falling here. The Euphonic Shield can only buy him so much time as PYW brings him down, but the rest, they want to be able to catch more.
He buybacks. I believe the plan is to go Rosh Pit, instantly. Puck is up in 25 seconds, but I don't believe that Vici Gaming are ready for this. Oh, well.
They're just going to go
take
for
that
it.
back. Yeah.
Vici Gaming, they're trying to play this fast, getting a little desperate.
If you don't go in, if you don't disrupt this, you can't win.
They have 6 seconds till the RP is back up, but Roshan is falling so fast. Somebody's got to get inside the pit and stop this right now. But there's going to be crit. Look at them, just running in to make sure they can finish off Roshan freely, and now Vici Gaming has to retreat. But he knows that whoever he grabs at this point in time could be victim to dying with no buyback. That's why he's just running headlong in. Same goes with Arteezy right now, as he does have the Chronosphere up.
They're trying to find them, but they aren't able to. Arteezy, for some reason, he didn't go with the Storm. Instead, he went for the Rubik. I think maybe if he followed up on the Magnus and the Doom, that could have been a little bit better for them. But they're in a really strong position right now. You have the Cheese on the Storm Spirit. I believe the Aegis has been picked up by the Void. Arteezy will not be able to die any longer.
Successful game of hide and seek for Vici Gaming gets them out without losing anybody there around the Roshan pit, but they are now 12k net worth in the hole against Evil Geniuses and left without a tier 3 mid.
It's difficult for them really to come back. If you're a Vici Gaming fan right now, you must be feeling not too great. You have the Abyssal on the Magnus, you have the RP and the Doom, but you have to use these spells perfectly on the Void to take him down so that you have 2 chances, because he has that Aegis. And even without that Aegis, he has the Abaddon right next to him all the time, healing him up with that Aghanim Scepter.
Can even now give him the Solar Crest. This Ramses completes that, and they're just going to let RTZ push onto the high ground. Almost by himself. Ramsey's going to hit the range barracks, so he's a little bit separated from Artur. Wants to make sure they don't get caught in a big Winner's Curse or some big skewer back, right? Yeah. Skewer back would be make this fight a little bit harder. You're forced to blink away from Artur.
He isn't really interested in heroes at the moment. He's just taking down objectives, skewer back.
Skewer back onto the tier 4s, trying to chain it with the Centaur Sun. Misses, and Arteezy turns around, goes for the Chronosphere. The Ice Blast, the Cold Embrace is going to be able to save that damage. And look at that, PYW throws the Chronosphere right back in their face. Locking down 3 of them, Abed. Oh, the Winter's Curse! It caught Abed right. He jumps in. They're going to be able to get the Doom onto Ramses. Abed successfully jumps himself away, but they do manage to get the ultimate out onto the Abed. Maybe that wasn't PvP actually whipping Abed as he dances to and fro. Dancing around, Vici Gaming is taking them out. They have a buyback onto Eurus inside of the pit. Artur, what are you doing there? Can he actually get out to the Ebony disables Abed? They need to be able to bail out Arteezy right now. Abed losing all of his mana, but Arteezy does manage to get outside of the fountain here. 3 dead on the side of Vici Gaming, and that is it. Vici Gaming.
They call it.
Call it here. Evil Geniuses. They get their revenge against Vici Gaming here in the bracket, and they're heading to the grand finals.
The last hope of NA, or the last CIS hope in Ramses as well. Wow, what a game. The panel, they definitely believed in the Vici Gaming's draft. It looked solid. They had this Magnus, the